Hello everyone. I hope I'm audible to everyone.
Yes, you're audible for me.
Ma'am,
Hi. Yes, you're audible to me as well.
so good evening everyone. Ma'am, good evening. Good evening everyone.
Good evening.
Hello and welcome everyone. So Connaissance specialist in collaboration with We Avec U Foundation presents today's podcast session. So, we are delighted to bring you another segment of conversation in the field of mental health and behavioral science. At VAVQ Foundation, we are committed to advancing mental health through evidence based care, innovative research, education, and strong community engagement. So, our mission is to make mental health services accessible, stigma free, and supportive of personal growth. And today, we have a very special session lined up for you, one that explores the fascinating idea of si- cognitive reserve, resilience, and brain health across cultures and communities. So, joining us today are three outstanding experts, each with remarkable contributions in psychology, neuroscience, and mental health. First one we are having with us is Dr. Rishi Mishra Sir. Dr. Rishi Mishra Sir is a senior psychologist and founder of Connaissance Specialist with more than 2 decades of transformative work in rehabilitation psychology, trauma counseling, and career guidance. Dr. Mishra has made an indelible mark in both academia and practice. So, his pioneer work following the Nithari incident and his international teaching engagement reflect his commitment to healing and empowering individuals. So, very shortly, Professor Dr. Tosendra Dwivedi sir will be also joining us. So, next we have Dr. Dwivedi sir with 17 years of extensive teacher training and research experience, a specialist in social psychology, cognitive neuropsychology, and clinical psychology. So, Dr. Dwivedi has authored more than 35 international papers and 9 books. His work with government officers, corporate leaders, and students across India has shaped the field of applied psychology in profound ways. Now, introducing our guest of the evening, Jeevitha ma'am. Let me introduce our featured guest for today. She is an assistant professor in the Department of Psychology at Alliance University, India, with a PhD in neuroscience and public health. Her research the gap between science and community well-being. So, Jeevitha Ma'am's work focuses on how lifestyle, culture, and healthcare systems influence brain health, especially in aging populations. She is particularly passionate about early detection of dementia and has been developing practical, easy to use tools for everyday healthcare, especially in rural and resource limited communities. And what makes her unique is her ability to translate complex neuroscience into simple, relatable ideas. Whether in the classroom or in the research, or public outreach, she inspires people to see brain health not as an abstract science but as a part of everyday life. Beyond academia, she explored creative ways to integrate neuroscience into community living through workshops, collaborative projects, and engaging dialogues, just like the one we are having today. So, Our topic today is building cognitive reserve, resilience of the brain across life and culture. So, basically, in short, if I go, it's the brain's ability to adapt to compensate. So, let's deep dive with a panel of experts. Once again, I really would like to welcome Jeevitha ma'am on behalf of Connaissance specialist Dr. Rishi Mishra sir, Professor Tosendra Dwivedi, and our entire audience, those who have joined us. Welcome back, ma'am. We
Thank you, sir.
really welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
So, ma'am, we are having a series of questions lined up because audience might be also getting curious in asking questions. Since this topic is all everyone's favorite, everyone want to know about your views related to cognitive science and especially our today's topic. So, ma'am, my first question to you is, what exactly is cognitive reserve? Why do scientists call it as a brain saving account? I mean,
Yeah. Yes, like as we also put up the topic, probably whoever has joined us today would also be wondering what is this reserve and why is this called as a brain's saving account, right? So, cognitive reserve is basically a brain's ability to adapt to any kind of challenges that comes up. So, you can consider it as this way, like it's like a resilience that we build for a longer duration as well. So, for physical health or even for our mental health, when there is some kind of stress, we should have some kind of ability in ourselves to cope with that, right? So, similarly, our cognitive abilities. So, what are cognitive abilities? When I keep mentioning cognitive abilities, are things like memory, attention, problem resolving capacities, and all this. So, even this goes on decreasing as we age because that is the brain's whole capacity as we age, right? Like the tissues goes down, the brain cells goes down. So as we age, or also in the younger age, if we start building a cognitive reserve, that is like a resilience or something that we are saving it for our longer duration, that is some kind of reserve that will help us in our old age. So why it is called savings account is it's exactly like that. Like today, whatever I am doing, like in our age, like younger generation, so most of our would be in our early 20s or 30s or 40s. So whatever we do it now, for example, reading new materials or going with a social engagement or learning new musical instruments, dance, music, any of this, anything that we are learning new, will act as a saving today. That will act as a bank's saving account, like how we would put a rupee by rupee today at our young age for our old age, right? Like I would save money for my old age. So exactly like that, by all this activity, I keep on saving up, or I keep on building my brain's resilience to adapt for the older times, like as I age. So that's why this is cognitive reserve, that is a brain's ability to face the challenges in the future. And why it is called bank's reserve is like a brain's reserve is just like how I reserve money for my old age. With the lifestyle, with the activities, I reserve the brain's capacity for the future challenges that comes with aging. So that's why it's called brain's saving account actually.
so ma'am, yes, everyone who must be listening is now will definitely be saving this information, because now we were aware about bank account. Now also you have really described it very beautifully about cognitive reserve. So my next question is for curious audience is, uh, if your brain had a savings account for resilience, what daily habits would you be depositing into it?
Okay, so as I was mentioning, when I actually talk about cognitive reserve, two things pop up usually. So first one is about lifestyle. So all my lifestyle activity, like balanced diet, physical activity, like how I wake up in the morning, go for a walk, where I do some kind of aerobic exercises, where oxygen is going to my brain. So oxygen utilizing capacity of my brain is improving. Whatever I do for that thing, like also with the balanced diet, having vitamin all the vitamins that needs for our brain and body, all that is also there, including our good sleep, good 7 to 8 hours of sleep, that is also needed. And next thing that pops up apart from the lifestyle is our education. So when I say education, it's not just academic, it's about learning, like how you learn new things, how you adapt to the social things, how you engage with the people. So when I tell about social connection and how you engage with the people, it's very common, right? Like as I'm talking to you, as I'm talking to the audience, like very usual or very common that our vocabulary is improving. We get to know few new words, and with all these things, my brain is adapting to the new things that is coming up, the new information that is coming up, and this actually makes like a deposition over a time, and they add up and strengthen the neural capacities in the brain and brain capacity that will help us in adapting and recovering. So the key two things that I want to emphasize here is lifestyle and a lifelong learning. Learning can be anything. You learn a new music, you go and learn a new language, all that is there. And coming to the lifestyle, it's all about how you eat, how much you sleep, and what you do. Yeah.
Well, ma'am, that's such a practical way of looking at it. So now moving on to another question, another series of question. Ma'am, do you think learning a new language or playing a musical instrument really acts like a fixed deposit for your cognitive reserve? Why or why not?
There's no why not here. It is actually happens, like it does happen. So learning a new language or even a new instrument. So what happens is these two activities like mentally demanding. Like they need attention, they need memory, they need coordination in your brain. That should happen. Like if you're learning a musical instrument or you are learning a language, you need some kind of coordination. Like how you learn a language, you write it, you read it, you listen it. So there should be all senses coordination, right? Like your auditory is happening, your visual is happening. A certain extent, if you are writing, your somatosensory is also in the go. So there is some kind of parallel processing happening. And these are all mentally demanding things. So when I say this mentally demanding things required sustained kind of attention and memory. So when I have this sustained attention, sustained memory, sustained capabilities, a new neural connection starts happening in my brain. So the neuron to neuron connection that happens, that goes on building strongly. So this again acts like a fixed deposits of earning interest over a time. Even research has shown that how bilingualism and musical training has actually delayed the onset of dementia in the older age as well because of the neural connection, because of the increased neuroplasticity as well. So there's no why not here. It will definitely do.
So, ma'am, it's like the brain is not just saving, it's actually earning interest on creativity.
Exactly. So you're not just putting money there. There is also some kind of interest you're building here. So when you were also mentioning about how Connaissance specialist also works with the mental health. So when you're doing all this activity also, directly or indirectly, you're not just saving it for the older age. Even for today, if I'm having some kind of sadness in me, I go and listen to a music, or else I go and talk to my friends, or I have some kind of social connection. Even with that, I have some kind of dopamine releasing, right? Like all my happy hormone starts releasing. That will help me in coping up with some or the other kind of, like if not, like I can't completely solve the a disorder as such, like if I have a clinically mentioned depression or an anxiety, but still to certain extent it helps me in coping up with that. But when you have clinically diagnosed, yes, there is some kind of medication therapies and all that, but these activities also help you in balancing your mental health as well.
That was really an informational and golden words, ma'am. So now moving on to another question. Can building cognitive reserve delay the effects of aging or dementia, or does it just mask the symptoms until later, ma'am?
So okay, it does actually, it does both the things. So what happens here, cognitive reserve doesn't simply stop brain change from aging or disease. So we have to go through that physical change because that is how humans are made, right? So, but what happens here with cognitive reserve, like what happens building with the cognitive reserve is it helps in compensating the decrease in the brain activity that happens. So it helps in compensating the symptoms. So for example, there are two people. Let's consider with an example. There are two people, person A and person B. So this person A has this very good habit of learning music, adapting to the new situations or learning new things, new language and everything. And person B is little laid down and just watches television, does nothing else. So what happens here is like both of them are aging. So they have done all this two kinds of activities at their early 20s or early 30s, but then when they are going to their early 60s, both of them are aging, right? So what happens here is person A would have more capacity to cope up with the memory related issues because they would have built such kind of neural connections in the brain with the problem solving activities they would have done or learning language activities. So what exactly I'm trying to say here is you can't stop it from aging, but cognitive reserve helps in compromising or delaying such symptoms or even overshadowing it with the help of the reserve that is already built. So people may live more years even without noticeable impairment in their age related memory issues or cognitive issues. So that's how cognitive reserve help it.
That really reframes aging not as a decline but as a story of hidden reserves waiting to be tapped.
Yeah.
So now moving over to the next question. So my next question is, how might cultural activities like storytelling, community rituals, or traditional games contribute to building a community's cognitive reserves?
So I was actually talking about two things to build cognitive reserve, right? Like physically, it is about your lifestyle and it is about academics, like not exactly academics, but some kind of learning or an educational thing. So here, when I was telling, again, coming back to this question, what you just asked me, community activities like dance or even traditional games or even like sitting and having a social ritual or a community ritual, what happens or what it does is this actually strengthens how we connect with people, how our vocabulary improves, and there is some kind of language involvement, and there is some kind of memory involvement as well. So you're singing a song, you should remember the lyrics. You're in a community dance, like we also have, like not just like one particular dance type I'm telling here, it includes everything, be it classical or bharatanatyam or even a fast number. And if you also go back to your traditional every community would have a particular dance steps or something, like for the ritual they do, right? Like for every festival, even for those there is some kind of cognitive reserve, cognitive abilities that are helping and building as well. So for example, they have to remember the steps, so memory is working there. They have to remember where the position is, like if I am in the front line or the back, or who is next to me, who am I shaking hand with, all that. So with that there is a improvement in their visuospatial ability as well, right? And if you come back to the storytelling, there is an improvement or there is involvement of imagination in the community. Like if I'm telling a story to you and you are listening to me, there is some kind of imagination happening in our brains as well that tinkers the frontal lobe. There's something connection that is happening our hippocampus, hypothalamus, and all that, right? Again, and coming to the traditional games, I have to make strategies there, how to win, what is the move I have to make. Again, all this will help in building a strategy, building some kind of teamwork. Together, they just don't help individuals to excel in that, but it also builds community resilience as well. So definitely all these activities, engaging communities and engaging in a cultural activity will also definitely improve individuals to build their cognitive results, to improve their mental health, and of course, it is directly and indirectly helping a community as well.
That's beautiful. It's almost like a cultural savings bank where everyone makes deposits for the next generation.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that
ma'am,
is also happening.
yes, ma'am.
So with that, we pass on these things to the generation as well. They also build upon this, and they also know with or without any kind of paper and pen, we are transforming that kind of knowledge also, where young generations without their knowledge are adopting to such kind of strategies, such kind of teamwork, such kind of community well-being.
As I was telling you about the another great expert who has joined us, we are having with us Professor Dr. Tosendra Dwivedi. Sir, welcome to this podcast session. Sir has also
Thank you.
joined.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure and privilege to hear from Dr. Jeevitha. She is really a brilliant scholar, and I'm more than keen to hear and learn from ma'am. So I was very keenly observing. What a wonderful response. I'm enjoying the show. Please go on, lovely ji. I will interact once ma'am is done. Right. Welcome
Surely.
and good evening, Dr. Jeevitha. It's a really privilege listening to you. All the best. Please carry on. We shall interact.
Sure, sir. Thank you so much. Thanks for the kind words.
Thank you so much, sir. So, every ma'am, I think each audience will definitely save these words because these are we all have heard about bank accounts, but there is also interesting concept of cognitive reserve and brain's account. So everybody must definitely save. Please do save these important tips. So next question that we are having is, if your brain's cognitive reserves were a theater, what actors, including skills, hobbies, lifestyle choices, would you cast to keep the show running even under the stress, ma'am?
Okay, that's really an interesting question. So, if I consider this as a theater, like cognitive reserve as a theater, and how I would improve that is, I was actually answered you in the theater language itself. So, of course, like in a theater, we have lead actors, supporting actors, and stage crew as well, right? So, I would go in that way. So, my lead actors, as I was mentioning earlier, also would be my education. Like when I am mentioning education, please see that like I'm not just talking about academics. It's about lifelong learning. Like you can learn a new language, you learn a new musical instrument or a new kind of music. All this includes in the education when I mentioned. And another lead actor would be my uh, physical exercise. So though I can include lifestyle here, but still in that I would prioritize physical exercise, because physical exercise is not just for the body. You must be all be knowing as well, right? Like as we engage ourselves in a physical exercise, be it in a gym or even in a nature walk, what happens is as we get tiring ourselves, there is a lot of breathing and breathe out happening. So with that, what happens? We are intaking a lot of oxygen, and this oxygen capacity will move to our brain as well. So oxygen capacity, as the oxygen availability is high in the brain, it helps neurogenesis, all this process, like whatever we need for a better mental clarity or even a better mental reserve, that starts improving. So that's why I would put them as a lead actors. And my supporting actors would be hobbies, like you mentioned about hobbies as well. So that would be solving puzzles and painting, because there is some kind of strategy involved and some kind of decision making. So if I'm doing a painting, I know there is a tree and I want a home and all that. So when I'm painting, I'll actually make sure, okay, I want my tree to be in this color, maybe bottle green or a light green, and I want some fruits on that. So such kind of like improvisation is also happening there. Such some kind of thinking is also happening there. And when I'm solving puzzles, of course, there is problem solving capacities helping coming up, and decision making abilities are also coming up. So that would be my supporting actors in building cognitive reserve. And another thing I was also mentioning, as I was want to mention it from the theater language, I would also want stage crew, right? Like for a good theater to happen. So all my stage crew would be healthy diet, veg or non-veg, anything in limit, anything in proportion, anything with a good calorie amount, whatever is needed for your age, that you get from your nutritionist or a specialist, doctor specialist, and of course 7 to 8 hours of good sleep. So that is where our memory consolidation happens. That is where our normalizing of attention builds and all that. So good sleep is another thing that is really important. And another important thing would be stress management. We have Tosendra sir, who is really good in his stress management tips and workshops. So stress management is one another thing that I would really urge for. You can follow any kind of thing like a simple breathe in, breathe out exercise, or even a mindfulness. All that will actually play a greater role in stress management. Yeah, so all these things, I think this ensures plays goes well, and even when scripts get difficult, like even when I am actually physically drained, if I'm maintaining all this. So when I'm physically draining, I'm connecting it to the script getting difficult. So even with this, if I have a very good lead actor, very good supporting actor, and a very good stage crew, all this would go well, and I would build my cognitive reserve, and I would stay happy at my old age.
So I can picture it now. The curtain never drops because the cast always has an understudy ready. So, ma'am, everybody, let's take a quick and very short 5 minutes break. After this, we will be again continuing. So, please, everybody, please don't go anywhere. We all are just taking a very short 5 minutes break. That's a Kit Kat break. So, uh, please do join after 5 minutes. Thank you, everyone. So, see you
Sure.
after 5 minutes.